Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada. So here it comes, the most important Ekādaśī of the year. Why it is the most important? Because by strictly following this Ekādaśī, we get the same result as strictly following all the 24 Ekādaśīs of the year. So this Ekādaśī is called Jyeshtha Sukla Ekādaśī. It is also known as Nirjalā Ekādaśī. It is also known as Bhīmasena Nirjalā Ekādaśī, and it is also known as Pāṇḍava Ekādaśī. So we will be reading from the Brahmā-vaivarta Purāṇa, and we will understand why this Ekādaśī is so important and why it's also called Bhīma Nirjalā Ekādaśī. So we shall start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vāsudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vāsudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vāsudevaya. Nirjalā Ekādaśī. Once Bhīmasena, the younger brother of Maharaj Yudhishthira, asked the great sage Śrīla Vyāsadeva, the grandfather of the Pāṇḍavas, if it is possible to return to the spiritual world without having observed all the rules and regulations of the Ekādaśī fasts. Bhīmasena said, O greatly intelligent and learned grandfather, my brother Yudhishthira, my dear mother Kunti, and my beloved wife Draupadi, as well as Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadev, fast completely on each Ekādaśī and strictly follow all the rules, guidelines, and regulative injunctions of that sacred day. Being very religious, they always tell me that I should also fast on that day too. But, O grandfather, I tell them that I cannot live without eating, because unbearable to me. I can give wildly in charity and worship Sri Keshava properly, but I cannot be asked to fast on Ekādaśī. Please tell me how I can obtain the same merits, result without fasting. Hearing these words, Śrīla Vyāsadeva replied, if you want to go to the heavenly planets and avoid the hellish planets, you should indeed observe a fast on both the light and dark Ekādaśīs. We should note here that Bhīma, being a pure devotee of the Lord, couldn't care much about heaven and hell. But the Lord, through his pure devotees, also gives some instructions for the general people concerning piety and impiety. Bhīma replied, O great intelligent grandfather, please listen to my plea. O greatest of Munis, since I cannot live if I eat only once in a day, how can I possibly live if I fast completely? Within my stomach burns a special fire named Vrika, the fire of digestion. Another name for Bhīma is Vrikodhar, the voracious eater. Actually, it is said that Bhima's digestive system is like that of a lion. That's why he can digest raw meat, you see. So that is the type of fire that burns within Bhimasena's stomach. Only when I eat to my full satisfaction does the fire in my stomach become satisfied. O great sage, I might possibly be able to fast only once, so I beg that you tell me of an Ekādaśī that is worthy of my fasting, and that includes all other Ekādaśīs. I shall faithfully observe that fast and hopefully still become eligible for liberation. Again here, Bhīmasena speaks of liberation. Generally, this liberation, this word, moksha, is used by the impersonalists who desire to be merged into the Brahmā-jyoti, which is the effulgence emanating from the Lord's body. So this is impersonal liberation, which is considered like naraka, hell, for devotees. Devotees never want to lose their independence, because it is by this independence that they can serve the Lord. And this is where they derive their pleasure. Their love of serving the Supreme Lord would be lost if they lost the individuality. So he's taking the position of one who's situated within the Varna ashram and is not fully aware of the devotional service of the Lord. Another point here, he says that only when I eat to my full satisfaction is the fire in my stomach satisfied. So when Arjuna won Draupadi, Mother Kunti taught Draupadi how to cook for the Pandavas. So she said that whatever you cook, half will be given to Bhima and the other half will be divided amongst the 4 other brothers. So Bhima was eating, we can say, 4 times more than his brothers. Śrīla Vyāsadeva replied, O king, you have heard from me about the various kinds of occupational duties, such as elaborate Vedic ceremonies and pujas. In the Kali Yoga, however, no one will be able to observe all these occupational and functional duties properly. I shall therefore tell you how, at practically no expense, one can endure some small austerity and achieve the greatest benefit and resultant happiness. The essence of what is written in the Vedic literatures known as the Purāṇas is that one should not eat on either the dark or light fortnight ekādaśīs. One who fasts on ekādaśīs saved from going to the hellish planets. Okay, again, this is not our purpose to fast on ekādaśī. Our purpose is to do it because this is our duty. This is our dharma, real dharma. We are eternal servant of the Lord and our duty is to please Him. And Krishna says that He is pleased when we perform ekādaśī. So therefore that should be our only motive. This is called Shuddha Sattva Bhakti, without any tinge of material desire. Hearing Śrīla Vyāsadeva's words, Bhīmasena, the strongest of all warriors, became frightened and began to shake like a leaf on a banyan tree in a strong wind. The frightened Bhīmasena then said, O grandfather, what should I do? I am completely unable and ill-equipped to fast twice in a month throughout the year. Please tell me of the one fasting day that will bestow the greatest benefit upon me. One more time, Bhīmasena here start to be frightened and shake like a leaf. It is not possible for a pure devotee of the Lord to be frightened. So all these seemingly mundane emotions are enacted by the internal potency of the Lord. Just like Arjuna became materially attached to his family member. That was not done by Yoga Maya, the external potency. Just like mundane people, they become afraid. That is because of the external energy of the Lord. But when a devotee becomes seemingly afraid in the same manner, it is done by the Mahamaya, the internal potency. And there is an arrangement behind this by the Lord. So Arjuna became bewildered so that Krishna could speak Bhagavad Gita. Here again, this arrangement is made so that this narration can be made by sage Vyasadeva and recorded, and now we're discussing it. So it is the mercy of the Lord spreading. So when pure devotees become seemingly mundanely active, displaying mundane emotions, it is always done by Krishna directly. It is not done due to their being entangled by the 3 modes of the material nature. No, they are always above. Vyasadeva replied, without drinking even water, you should fast on the Ekādaśī that occurs during the light fortnight of the month of Jyeshta, May-June, when the soul travels in the sign of Gemini and Taurus. According to learned personalities, on this day one may bathe and perform Achaman for purification. But while performing Achaman, one may drink only that amount of water equal to a drop of gold, or that amount it takes to immerse a single mustard seed. Only this amount of water should be placed in the right palm for sipping, which one should form to resemble a cow's ear. If one drinks more water than this, he might as well have drunk wine. So just see how strict the Ekādaśī Vrata are. The vows and Ekādaśī, the regulative principles, must be very strictly observed. The more one is capable of strictly observing, the more he will get the benefit, because the seriousness will be felt by the Lord. It will be seen, and the Lord will reciprocate. So by doing Achaman on Ekādaśī day, we should be very, very careful to put as little as possible. one must certainly not eat anything, for if he does so, he breaks his fast. This rigid fast is in effect from sunrise on the Ekādaśī day to the sunrise on the Dvadashi day. If a person endeavors to observe this great fast very strictly, he easily achieves the result of observing all 24 other Ekādaśī fasts throughout the entire year. And this is why this Ekādaśī is so important and so famous. On Dvadashi, which is the day that follows Ekādaśī, the devotee should bathe early in the morning. Then, according to the prescribed rules, guidelines, and regulative injunctions, and of course, depending on his ability, he should give some gold and water to worthy brahmanas. Finally, he should cheerfully honor prasadam with a brahmana. So you see gold. So these things, Prabhupada made it simple for us, but what we can do, since now everything is done electronically, even though we're very far away, it would be very good that if on Dvadasi in the morning, we should give a donation. So before observing prasadam, we can do a transfer of money to some temple, to some devotees who are engaged in preaching in this way, or some go seva, some donation early in the morning on Dvadasi. Here it is said. And then we can honor prasadam with a brahmana. Honoring prasadam with a Vaishnava is already greater than a brahmana. So we should honor prasadam with other devotees. O Bhīmasena, one who can fast on this special Ekādaśī in this manner reaps the benefit of having fasted on every Ekādaśī during the year. There is no doubt of this, nor should they be. O Bhima, now hear the specific merit one gets by fasting on this Ekādaśī. The Supreme Lord Keshava, who holds a conch, discus, club, and lotus, personally told me, everyone should take shelter of me and follow my instructions. Then he told me that one who fasts on this Ekādaśī without taking even drinking water or eating becomes free of all sinful reactions. And that one who observes the difficult Nirjalā fast on Jyeshta Shukla Ekādaśī truly reaps the benefit of all other Ekādaśī fasts. So an important point here, Vyāsadeva is saying there is no doubt of this, nor should there be. This is very important. This Shraddha, this faith, is what spiritual life is built upon. So the more we have faith in these observance of Ekādaśī or chanting the holy name, worship of the deity, anything, the more we have faith in these things, the more we will get the result. Okay? So here it says we are freed from all sinful reactions. So the goal should not be freed from sinful reactions because this might lead us to hell. It should be so that we can engage ourselves in the service of the Lord. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that only those who are completely freed from all sinful reactions and who have performed pious activity life after life can engage in my devotional service. So the goal is to become purified so that we can engage in the service of the Lord, not for material enjoyment. O Bhīmasena, in the Kali Yoga, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, when all the principles of the Vedas will have been destroyed or greatly minimized, and when there will be no proper charity or observance of the ancient Vedic principles and ceremonies, how will there be any means of purifying the self? But there is the opportunity to fast on Ekādaśī and become free of all one's past sins. So not only this Ekādaśī, but any Ekādaśī, if one is capable of doing Nirjal fast, that is very, very purifying. And as you can see here, Kali Yoga, it's an ocean of fault. It is very hard to follow any other Vedic injunctions. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has simplified just the chanting of that Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It encompassates everything else within it. But that does not mean that we should not follow Ekādaśī. Oh, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I should not follow Ekādaśī. No. Our method is Acharya Upasana. We follow what the Acharya are giving us. And Prabhupada told us to do Ekādaśī. So we accept. And also, he never discouraged someone who wanted to do Nirjal fast. Never. So if one wants to do, he can do. Although he simplified for, the general devotees that you don't take grains. That's fine. He also say, okay, Ekādaśī food means fruits, yogurt, or milk in this way, So that is to progress. But real Ekādaśī is like this, Nirjalā fasting. Now I'm saying this, I'm not even doing it myself, but I'm reading here, and we're learning together. It's not that I'm very advanced level. We're reading this story together. But His Grace Unagopal Prabhu, Temple President in Singapore and Senior Mentor of ISKM worldwide, he is doing every single Ekādaśī Nirjalā fast. Not only that, he's taking only 1 meal a day, on normal days also. There are the other devotees also. My father is also doing Nirjalā fast every Ekādaśī. So it's not impossible, and we should try to work ourselves toward that goal. O son of Vayu, what more can I say to you? You should not eat during the Ekādaśīs that occur during the dark and light fortnights, and you should even give up drinking water on the particularly auspicious Ekādaśī day of Jyeshtha Shukla Ekādaśī. O Vrikodar, whoever fasts on this Ekādaśī receives the merit of bathing in all the places of pilgrimage, giving all kinds of charities to worthy persons, and fasting on all the dark and light Ekādaśīs throughout the year, in one go. Of this there is no doubt. O tiger among men, whoever fasts on this Ekādaśī truly becomes a great person and achieves all manner of opulence and wealth, grains, strength, and health. And at the fearful moment of death, the terrible Yamadutas, whose complexions are yellow and black, and who brandish huge maces and twirl mystic pasha ropes in the air for binding their victims, will refuse to approach him. Rather, such a faithful soul will at once be taken to the supreme abode of Lord Vishnu by the Vishnu Dutas, whose transcendently beautiful forms are clothed in gorgeous yellowish garments, and who each hold a disc, a club, conch, and lotus in their forehands, resembling Lord Vishnu. It is to gain all these benefits that one should certainly fast on this very auspicious and important Ekādaśī, even from water. So here, this very last boon that we get by fasting on this Ekādaśī is what the devotee should aspire, is to go back home, back to Godhead, and there engage in the Lord's service. Go back to the spiritual world and not stay in the coronavirus infested material world. What are we doing here? So this is the real purport of fasting. When the other Pandavas heard about the benefits to be gained by following Jyeshtha Shukla Ekādaśī, they resolved to observe it exactly as their grandfather Śrīla Vyāsadeva had explained it to their brother Bhīmasena. All the Pandavas observed it by refraining from eating or drinking anything. And thus this day is also known as Pāṇḍava Nirjalā Ekādaśī. Śrīla Vyāsadeva continued, O Bhīmasena, therefore you should observe this important fast to remove all your past sinful reactions. You should pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, in this way making your Sankalpa declaration. O Lord of all the demigods, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, today I shall observe Ekādaśī without taking any water. O unlimited Ananta, I shall break fast on the next day, Dvadashi. Thereafter, to remove all his sins, the devotee should honor this Ekādaśī fast with full faith in the Lord and with full control over his senses. Whether his sins are equal in volume to Mount Sumeru or to Mandarachala hill, if he or she observes this Ekādaśī, the sins that have been accumulated all become nullified and are burned to ashes. Such is the great power of this Ekādaśī. O best of human beings, although a person should also give water and cows in charity during this Ekādaśī, if for some reason or other he cannot, then he should give a qualified Brahmana some cloth or a pot filled with water. Indeed, the merit achieved by giving water alone equals that gained by giving gold 10 million times a day. Wow. So here, this is another thing that we could do, which is not very hard, to give water to a devotee. So if you simply give some water to a devotee tomorrow, just see what the merit that you're gaining. O Bhima, Lord Shri Krishna has said that whoever observes this Ekādaśī should take a holy bath, give charity to a worthy person, chant the Lord's holy names on a japamala, and perform some kind of recommended sacrifice. For by doing these things on this day, one receives imperishable benefits. There is no need to perform any other kind of religious duty. Observance of this Ekādaśī fast alone promotes one to the supreme abode of Shri Vishnu. O best of the Kurus, if one donates gold, cloth, or anything else on this day, the merit one obtains is imperishable. So the lesson here is that tomorrow one should offer charity. You should give in donation to temples, to Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and whatever he can, money, water, grains. He could sponsor for a cow. And here it is said also, japamala. So that is, it's not that we should fast and do so many material duties. All material duties should be put away. Actually, me, myself, tomorrow I will be closing my computer and closing my cell phone whole day. And this way I will just try to chant and read as much as possible throughout the whole day while fasting. In this way, because even these cell phones, these computers, it's not 100% pure like Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada's books is always what it is. You cannot do anything else with it. But the phone, Maya can attack at any moment. There's so many other things. There's some messages coming in. So I don't want to be disturbed. I will close my phone whole day, my computer whole day. And it's going to be me chanting. I will do my duty as pujari, deity worship. Jai Shri Shinitai Gaura Sundar ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande. Hari Haribol. I will serve their lordships and chanting and reading whole day. Remember, whosoever eats any grains on Ekādaśī becomes contaminated by sin, and verily eats only sin. In effect, he has already become a dog-eater, and after death he suffers a hellish existence. But he who observes this sacred Jyeshta Shukla Ekādaśī and gives something in charity certainly achieves liberation from the cycle of repeated birth and death, and attains to the supreme abode. Observing this Ekādaśī, which is merged with Dvadashi, frees one from the horrible sin of killing a Brahmana, drinking liquor and wine, becoming envious of one's spiritual master, and ignoring his instructions, and continually telling lies. So this is the reason why Prabhupada didn't want us to eat grains, especially on Ekādaśī, because the grains become contaminated by a lot of sin. Somehow or other, sins enter grains on this day. So by eating grains, one gets so much sin. And already in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that one who doesn't offer his food and eats verily only sin. So all these poor people out there, they eat grains on Ekādaśī. So this double, it's even more sins. So how unfortunate they are. So we are very fortunate to have access to this knowledge and Prabhupada, Krishna. So we should do the best use of it. We should really sincerely at least follow this Ekādaśī. Furthermore, O best of beings, any man or woman who observes this fast properly and worships the Supreme Lord, Jalashayi, he who sleeps on the water, and who on the next day satisfies a qualified Brahmana with nice sweets and a donation of cows and money, such a person certainly pleases the Supreme Lord Vāsudeva. So much so that 100 previous generations in his family undoubtedly go to the Supreme Lord's abode, even though they may have been very sinful or bad character, and guilty of suicide, etc. Indeed, one who observes this amazing Ekādaśī rides on a glorious celestial airplane, Vimana, to the Lord's abode. So just see how the Lord is making it easy for us. Simply by fasting, giving some charity on Ekādaśī, giving some charity to devotees on Dvadashi, strictly observing, chanting Japamala, we can deliver 100 generation. So how powerful this Ekādaśī is. 100 generation like this, liberated, One who on this day gives a Brahmana a water pot, an umbrella, or shoes, surely goes to the heavenly planets. Indeed, he who simply hears these glories also attains to the transcendental abode of the Supreme Lord, Shri Vishnu. Whoever performs the Shraddha ceremony to the forefathers on the dark moon day called Amavasya, particularly if it occurs at the time of a solar eclipse, undoubtedly achieves great merit. But this same merit is achieved by him who simply hears this sacred narration. So powerful and so dear to the Lord is this Ekādaśī. So we shouldn't have any doubt in whatever statements are there. If we don't have any doubt, we will bear the full result, the full merit. One should clean his teeth properly and, without eating or drinking, observe this Ekādaśī to please the Supreme Lord Keshava. Here is the real purpose, to please the Supreme Lord Keshava. That is why we perform Ekādaśī. There should be no other purpose. On the day after Ekādaśī, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form as Trivikrama, by offering him water, flowers, incense, and a brightly burning lamp. Then the devotee should pray from the heart, O God of gods, O deliverer of everyone, O Rishikesha, master of the senses, kindly bestow upon me the gift of liberation, though I can offer you nothing greater than this humble pot filled with water. Then the devotee should donate the water pot to a Brahmana. So we shouldn't pray for liberation. While doing this prayer, we should ask to be engaged in the Lord's service. This is what Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching us. All pure devotees pray the same way. I simply want to be engaged in your service, or in the service of your pure devotees. O Bhīmasena, after this Ekādaśī fast and donating the recommended items according to his ability, the devotee should feed Brahmanas and thereafter honor prasadam silently. Śrīla Vyāsadeva concluded, I strongly urge you to fast on this auspicious, purifying, sin-devouring Dvadashi in just the way I have outlined. Thus you will be completely freed of all sins and reach the supreme abode. Thus ends the Vrajavasi narration of the glories of Jyeshta Shukla Ekādaśī, or Bhīmasena Nirjalā Ekādaśī, from the Brahmā-vaivarta Purāṇa. So again, on Ekādaśī day, we should not eat nor drink anything. If we do achaman, it should be so little as to contain only a mustard seed. We should give in charity to qualified Brahmana. We should send donation, through PayPal or bank transfer to some temple. We can give cows to Brahmana. We can give water, umbrella, new shoes to the devotees, new dhotis, new clothes to the devotees. In this way, we should find something to give in charity. Okay, water pot. It says we can buy a nice bottle, nice new bottle for a devotee. So in this way, and we should spend the whole day chanting and reading only. We should not do any material activities. And in this way, the next day, again, in the morning, early morning, again, give some donation to the devotees. And then we should honor prasadam with the devotees silently. Really honoring prasadam, not in a enjoying spirit, but relishing that, this prasadam was tasted by the Lord. It is His mercy. Let me honor it properly. Just like Prabhupada, when he was honoring prasadam, always silent, very absorbed in doing. So I wish you all a very happy Ekādaśī. I pray for all of you to get great blessings from the Lord and Srila Prabhupada on this Ekādaśī day. It might not be easy to fast from water. Sometimes fasting from food can be done, but water is very hard. But we should endure this little austerity for such a great benefit. We should remember this story, Ekādaśī, how much we're going to be benefited and please the Lord Keshava by doing this Ekādaśī. So we should stay fixed in our determination that no, I should not take any water, even if we feel weak. That's why we should minimize our physical activities. We should stay at home, maybe not stay in the sun and all these things. Anything that will make us feel tired or sleepy or anything, we should avoid, you see. So that's it. We hope that you have liked this story. It is a very nice narration, and if Bhīmasena can do it, who has got this fire which is burning almost 20 times stronger than ours, then how much can we do? So we should follow in the footsteps of Bhīmasena and follow this Ekādaśī very strictly. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.